Hey Leon, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all take a look at your posture. We can see that your spine is it might be a little bit rounded, but you know what? It's straight enough, and it's on a decent tilt here. Your legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. You hang your arms off that tilted spine. Golf club works out to the ball. So pretty solid posture there. I mean, if I were going to work on your game, I'd probably just try and get you to throw your tail out and up a little bit more, throw your sternum out, up, and forward, and then any curvature that we have in the spine would disappear at that point in time. Okay, but nonetheless, posture, balance looks pretty solid here. Let's go ahead and take a look at your alignment. We can see your feet running in this direction. Carry that out towards the fairway. Now theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. With that philosophy in mind, we can see that you're set up right down the center of the fairway, so that's terrific. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. I've got some color-coded lines on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. As we go ahead and initiate the takeaway with Jordan, we can see he rotates his shoulders, he draws his arms and hands back as well as his club, and we want to see the golf club coming back along the red line on plane. Also, in the early stages of the golf swing, we want to incorporate some wrist hinge into play, which means we need to transition the club head from being below and in front of our hands to getting this golf club above and behind our hands. This move is really, really important here, okay? Because now the golf club's still on plane, okay? Very important to keep the golf club in this position, and then from here, working the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we want to see the left arm, either the left arm or the club, situated on yellow. Now again, what I want you to notice is I want you to notice the angle of the golf club. I'm going to refer to this a few times when we look at your golf swing, right? The angle of the golf club is still sort of over here, okay? As we bring that back down to when the golf club was here, it gets a little bit above the red line, working towards the blue-yellow V zone, but again, it's still on that angle, right? And then even at address, right, the club is still on that angle. So that's what swing plane is. We're trying to keep the golf club in a familiar angle to its original address plane, the red line. And it's very, very imperative that the golf club through here gets above and behind the hands, like we see right there, okay? If that club shaft starts working steep, anywhere as such, it's putting you out of position, and it's going to make it very difficult to come back into the golf ball, okay? So I want to point this out because I'm going to make reference to it a little bit later on. So anyways, when we set the club at the top, we want the left arm of the club either on the yellow line, anywhere within the blue-yellow V zone. Again, notice the club head still pointed left, or physically up on blue, as we can see with Jordan Spieth. Now, as the golf club gets a little bit more shaft parallel to the ground, that golf club will run parallel to our feet. Okay, so now it's pointed a little less left. That's just because of the length of the swing. As we go ahead and watch your takeaway here, you draw your hands back nicely, turning your shoulders. Club initially starts to come back a little inside, then you recover it, and then you end up keeping the club head out in front of your hands. So this is still fine here. But then the club continues to stay out in front of your hands. Continues to stay out in front of your hands. So at this point in time, that club head should have fallen back over to here. Because I stated that, hey, we got to take the club head from being below and in front of our hands to when we're in this kind of position right about here. The club head right now should be above and behind your hands. So right now the club head's getting above your hands, but it's not getting behind. So the shaft angle is incorrect. As we go to the next frame, club head works more behind your hands, but notice that club shaft's too steep. Remember, I'd illustrated that on the left-hand side of the screen. Okay? Again, that club shaft should be over here. at this point in time. Let's go to the next frame. Okay, club falls a little bit more behind your hands, not that much. Club shaft is still too steep. Next frame, same thing, and we keep working to the top, and when we finally get to the top, because that club shaft was steep, it stays steep, and then it points way too far to the right. Okay, so you have good shoulder rotation, pretty stable right side. You're falling a little bit to the outstep of your foot. You want to keep your weight on the inside part of your right foot when you load your backswing, but your turn's good, right leg's fairly stable. You maintain your posture in the axis you achieved at address. Arms are in pretty good geometry relative to your core. We would like to see your left arm up a little higher, maybe making it to yellow, so we have a bit of a shallow swing. But the biggest thing is learning where to put that club head and club shaft at the top of the swing. And you're not going to get it in the proper position without making the proper move from here to here. Okay, so that's very imperative. The club head's got to get above and behind the hands right here. So from the top of the backswing now, it's very, very critical that, now, okay, we want to move the weight from the right to the left, fine, fire the knees and the hips laterally to the target, unwind the core and fire the hands. But in firing the hands, we got to make sure we bring the golf club back down onto red. And that's exactly what we see here. But notice, this is the exact same angle of the golf club again that we had when we brought it back. So we bring it back, there's that move again right to here. Look at the club's in the exact same position. So as we come back into the ball, that club needs to return right back into that same position at what I refer to as pre-impact here. Absolutely critical part of the golf swing right there, because right now the club head's still above and behind the hands, and it's returning to plane. And in order to hit straight balls, the club has to return back to plane. Okay? And we also need to have this club head above and behind the hands to create power. And that's the idea. We want to hit the ball with power, and we want to be able to hit it straight. So let's watch you come into the ball here, and let's see how your club works. So your hands are moving out in front, and the club shaft's staying steep. Okay? So we'll go to the next frame. So at this point in time, we can mark your club head. And we can basically say that, hey, this club is not returning back to plane. The club shaft is coming into the ball at this point in time too steep. It's about 70 degrees. That club right now needs to be over here. Okay? And hopefully you can see that, hey, if I have the club where it is right now, yeah, I'm going to chop down on top of the ball. But if I laid the club off, and I brought that club head so that that club head was over here and the shaft was on this angle, how much more power do I have? Well, a ton. And not only do you have more power, but then you can also hit the ball straight in accordance to your alignment. And those are the three most important things. We have to aim well. We have to bring the club down on plane in order to hit the ball straight based off that alignment. And then lastly, we have to have a good grip, and the club face has to square up for that to all come and fruition through. Okay? So at this point in time, we can continue to track your club head coming into the ball. And we're just going to watch this club fall out in front of you. Oh, actually, you know what? Did a nice job right here. I anticipated that club to fall out in front, but look at this. You fight so hard to keep that club above and behind your hands. That's a really, really great job right there. Okay? Because what we've got now is you can still create some power because the club head's still above and behind your hands. At the end of the day, the club has not returned back to plane again, but you're fighting to keep that club head above and behind your hands. I actually bet in the next frame it's actually going to fall on the red line now. Yeah, good job. That's wonderful. So we can see here that, this is your descending plane. If we just sort of connect the dots, we'll have a better sense as to when did it hit the red line, which is right there. Whereas with, Snedeker, his golf club returns back to plane, as we've already mentioned here, and then as it comes in, it simply tracks in the golf ball directly from this red line the whole time. So again, like I said, this is what produces straight golf shots based on our alignment, and again, assuming the club face squares up. So in your case, we can see that in this frame, the club does not return back to plane. But you fought to get that club head in behind your hand, so this is really good stuff here. Let's clear this off the screen. Let's see what happens to your club face at impact here. So it squares up. This is wonderful. So, I mean, you should have a reasonably decent chance to get that ball going in the direction of where you're aimed, because that club face squared up and you fought to get the club somewhat back down onto a plane. Looked like the club face may be over-released. Looks like you're imparting some right to left spin on the ball. Also, because the club face is releasing so much, you're de-lofting the club, so we're not really getting the launch trajectory we probably want. We also notice at point of impact that, you know, his right heel is off the ground. Yours is not. You're flat-footed. So we really aren't creating the proper footwork, knee work, and lower body work into impact. And then you can see your right foot stays on the ground all the way through. So one of the things you want to do in your golf swing is definitely learn just to simply create proper footwork where your right heel comes off the ground at point of impact, and then watch the continued activity in that right foot where the right heel comes fully up off the ground. We get up on the toe of the right foot. We can count all the spikes in the shoe. This is what's going to get our weight to our left side and allow our hips to square around. Also at that point, the shoulders can fully rotate, the hands can be high, and the club back in behind us. So that's pretty simple stuff right there, just learning how to create proper footwork with the right foot. It's going to aesthetically make your golf swing look a lot better for sure coming through into the finishing position. Overall, I mean, you got some nice athletic qualities with respect to your golf swing. Your hands work well. They come back, they fire through. Your core's working well. You coil, uncoil. You get your upper body moving through to a good finish, but make that easier on yourself by creating proper footwork like we just discussed. Your posture is pretty solid, as we discussed at the beginning. Alignment's very good. The biggest thing is when you bring this golf club back and you get that golf club to here, that club head, you got to learn how to get the club head over here at this point in time, okay? You just got to learn how to get the club head behind your hands earlier, to change the top of your backswing so the club's not across the line. And at that point in time, because you do such a great job rerouting everything back into impact, that club's probably very likely going to be on a very good plane. So this is really the number one thing you really got to work on to really just completely change your ball striking, your power, consistency, I mean, just everything, okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on this, I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. I'd be happy to structure a program for you. And then obviously your finish. That's as important as getting that golf club, you know, on plane coming back sooner, okay? Because that'll just aesthetically make your golf swing look better, alleviate some lower back pressure that you may be finding that you have during a round of golf or at the end of the round or even the next day. And just really those two things, and then after that you can figure out where your golf swing's at and then go from there, okay? Anyways, also if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, certainly feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, great meeting you. Hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.